Right, and live from the Kenyatta University Communication Center, you're just in time for the Friday edition of the KUTV Prime Time News. Now, a lot has been happening within the country and also across our borders, and we've been up to beat to collect for you this information and give it to you in a candid way to keep you informed. But first, let's begin it officially. My name is Emmanuel Kutosi, and joining me in the sign language interpretation is Francis Okinyi. Of course, you can be able to chime in with us on our social media handles at KUTV Kenya on Facebook and KUTV_Kenya on the X platform. Keep the conversation going as we interact on various matters that we are going to divulge in. Now, 31 victims of the Elgeyo Marakwet mudslides were today laid to rest in a mass burial ceremony attended by families and friends. The Christ the King Church led the service with speakers urging government agencies to enhance disaster prevention measures. The mudslides, which struck several villages, claimed more than 39 lives, injured 32, and displaced over 600 families. And elsewhere, President William Ruto has praised the graduating officers of the National Defense University in Lanet, saying they have successfully completed one of the country's most rigorous security courses. The president said the officers have shown discipline, commitment, and resilience, qualities essential for safeguarding Kenya's security interests.
President William Ruto today during the graduation ceremony of the National Defense University Kenya in Lanet, Nakuru County, acknowledged the officers for their achievement in finishing a challenging and well-respected defense course. Speaking during the graduation ceremony, Ruto emphasized that the National Defense University, since its establishment, has played a critical role in shaping Kenyan strategic leadership and producing officers capable of responding to emerging and complex security threats.
I am therefore proud that the National Defense University Kenya has distinguished itself as a dependable institution capable of undertaking sensitive research with far-reaching implications for our security and for our development.
However, according to Ruto, the training equips participants with strategic insight, strengthening inter-agency cooperation, and enhances the country's ability to contribute to regional and global stability.
Our defense and security architecture is in constant flux. Rapid technological advancement, especially in artificial intelligence, are proving both a boon and a threat. These trends compel us to adopt agile, innovative, and adaptable strategic approaches across every sphere of national and international life, including our security architecture.
President Ruto reaffirmed the government's commitment to investing in modern training facilities, improved infrastructure, and international partnership aimed at expanding the college capacity. He urged the graduates to uphold integrity, professionalism, and patriotism as they take up new responsibilities in strengthening national security and promoting peace.
Thank you so much.
Rael Makona, KUTV.
And away from that, Mbeere North has erupted into a high-stakes political showdown as national heavyweights descend on the constituency. What began as a routine by-election has morphed into a battle for regional influence, with fiery speeches, drums, and intense campaign trail momentum defining the race. 6 days before the Kokros and Beira North constituency heads to the polls for its second election to choose a member of the National Assembly, the ground on Friday was alive with political energy. Deputy President KUTVNEWS led the crescendo of drums in support of Leonard Wamuthende, the UDA candidate seeking to fill the seat left vacant following a presidential appointment.
Wewe ndugu yangu mdogo Leonard Wamuthende, kwa sababu Mungu anaenda kukujalia juma lijalo, by Friday next week, by the grace of God and the prayers of the people of Beira North and the votes of the people of Beira North, you are going to be our next member of parliament of this area.
The DP arrived flanked by Public Service Cabinet Secretary Geoffrey Ruku, among others, whose elevation to the cabinet created the vacancy 2 years before the end of his parliamentary term.
Hey! Arambe!
Wamuthende, UDA's pick for the seat, appeared to have mastered the political language of the moment, firing salvos at his rival as he pitched his bid to the electorate.
Nijibu yeye nisijibu. Nimjibu nisimjibu. Nisimjibu nisimjibu. Bibi yangu unamuuliza nini? Mimi nakwambia wewe Karish, umeharibu mabibi ya watu hapa Beira North. Bibi yangu haendi disco, ndio maana umjui. Bibi yangu si wa disco. Wewe kwani wewe ndio unafanya statistics ya bwana ni nani, bibi ni nani, watoto ni nani? Akwende sana yeye. Kwende kabisa. Aende asiende. Aende.
Across another corner of the constituency, former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua rallied supporters, urging Beira North voters to reject what he termed a state-sponsored candidate in favor of Newton Karish, adding fuel to what is increasingly becoming a political turf between the two deputies.
Hawa watu unaweza kuja nyumbani Momenji, pahali watu wako na mtoto wao, ati unafikiria hao watu ni wajinga, ati wapatie pesa wasaliti mtoto yao.
Gashagua's entourage added to the charge atmosphere, not only campaigning for their preferred aspirant, but also taking aim at the government.
Ombe hawezi kuva na mazi? Si lazima ikamuliwe? Si huyu Kasongo ameiba pesa mingi ya Kenya? Si lazima tumunyoe? Kasongo anyolewe, nsinyolewe?
As the clock ticks, the race in the Mount Kenya region grows even more charged.
Wamuthende.
Kasongo anyolewe, nsinyolewe?
The show of political might remains the ultimate prize, with whoever clinches the seat expected to make a bold political statement in a region seen as a critical jigsaw piece ahead of the 2027 national primaries. Okay, and away from politics to matters, business and cooperatives are being urged to expand capital retention and boost affordable credit access for members. New sector data shows SACCOs are growing loans at about 10 to 11% annually, though they can exceed 15%. Speaking in Naivasha, Cooperative Bank Director Vincent Marango called for global best practices and stronger investments to unlock the movement's full economic potential. All right, and moving on to the judiciary, where it has recorded one of its strongest years yet, with clearing more than 600,000 cases and achieving 104% clearance rate. Chief Justice Martha Koome credited digital case management, alternative justice systems, and expanded court infrastructure for the gains. Criminal filings dropped by 8%, while civil cases rose sharply, driven by the growth of small claims court. Deputy President KUTVNEWS praised the judiciary's efficiency and assured continued support.
I'll be happy as a law student to see greater jurisprudential clarity on the question of the independence of the judiciary. It is it's a very, very highly entrenched principle, And there is no dispute on whether the judiciary is supposed to be independent. What we are looking for is clarity on where that independence meets with interdependence.
Our court stations held open days, breaking down barriers between the courts and the communities they serve, and enhancing transparency and accountability at the grassroots levels. Access to justice also improved significantly during the last financial year through expansion of the judiciary's physical and digital footprint. We continued to grow judicial presence across the country.
Now, Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Ogamba says the ministry is ready to guide students who sat this year's NEC exam on their next steps. He said the ministry now has accurate data on all learners, which will inform the next year's treasury allocations. He noted that this cohort is the first to see the NEC exams under the new CBC system.
And the students from the month of July have been piloted, have been informed of how to select, and in fact they have already done the selections. The selection will be based on the competency of the student, the marks that they've gotten, and the assessments that have been done. So there is a placement criteria that has already been developed and which has been explained to the students and which they use to select. Remember, this is the first transition. So being the first transition, to have a few teething problems, but our teams are already been trained and they are available to ensure that those issues are resolved to the benefit and the advantage of the student. An exercise to determine the number of learners we have in our institutions, and that process has been completed. Once we have these numbers, we then position for capitation early based on the numbers that we have, because the policy is clear. If you have students in high school, the amount should be 22,240. In junior school is 15,000, and in primary is 1,540. So once we submit this early, then we will be able to receive the capitation early so that the students, once the schools open.
Now, an inquest into the Hillside and Yarashi school fire that killed 21 students has begun in Nyeri County. 3 witnesses, a security guard, a matron, and a boarding master gave a detailed account of their rescue efforts on the night of September the 5th, 2024. The public inquest will resume on the 5th of February 2026 with more witnesses, including students, expected to testify. "16 minutes past the top of the hour, and we are due our first break right here on the Friday edition of the KUTV Prime Time News. There's more in store for you. Don't go too far. In a moment, I'll be coming back with it. Panda. Our planet's future is in our hands. However, there is a threat to the brightness of this tomorrow. On Earth Check, we share the challenges, the solutions, and the hope.
I would call this a very momentous day, a very critical day.
Every episode, every story, every step we take creates a ripple. Join me, the environmentalist Emmanuel Kutosi, on KUTV every Wednesday at 8 p.m. and be part of Action. Welcome.
Wa jamii. Kupanda shuka akawa tuzo, ukakamavu wake ukatii na kumfanya mwenye bidii. Kwa machozi na makeke akabaini jinsi ya kuweni. Huyu ni mwanamke ngangari kwa jinsi alivyo ng'ari.
Mimi ni mwanamke mwake.
Usikose kutazama kipindi cha mwanamke mwake, nami Caroline Kimwele.
Welcome back to the Friday edition of the KUTV Prime Time News. Now, the government has intensified consultations on the 2026-2027 health budget with a focus on advancing universal health coverage. Senior health officials led by the public sector hearings at the KICC, bringing together citizens, civil society and sector and stakeholders to shape funding priorities.
At the packed KICC auditorium, Principal Secretary for Medical Services Dr. Omar Oluga underscored the constitutional obligation to progressively realize the right to health.
The government must also balance between what Kenyans have to pay on taxes and the progressive increase in all of these amounts.
Speaking during the public sector hearings at the Kenyatta International Convention Center, the PS noted that Kenya's new social health financing system requires every citizen to contribute according to their income, whether salaried, self-employed, or earning from small businesses or livestock sales.
Then there is something called social health insurance fund. Hiyo unatoa kwa mfuko yako. Hiyo mfuko either is your salary if you are employed, ama kama uko na biashara, tunaenda huko, tunaangalia hiyo biashara yako iko na pesa gani. Kuna watu wako na ng'ombe, mbuzi, wanauza once in 3 months hapo, wamepata 200,000, they sell cassava. We want you to contribute to your health care. Sindio?
State Department for Public Health PS Mary Muthoni reaffirmed government support for community health promoters, saying budget allocations include stipend payments and the replacement of medical kits and smartphones.
We know we need to replace the kits. We know we need to replace the smartphones. We know we need consistent payment of their stipends both by the national government and the county government. That is why we are here, and it is called planning. The training of CHPs is a continuous process.
There was encouraging news from Medical Supplies Agency's KEMSA CEO Dr. Wako Dulacha announcing that the agency's order fill rates had improved from 38% to 70% within a year, with projections of hitting 98% by early 2026.
1 year ago, I found it at 38% order fill rate. Today, we are at 70%. So we are priming KEMSA to go back to the 98% order fill rate that we know, and we are on track. So now we are at 70, but we have said, because our systems are already primed, we've come a long way, from 38 to 70. Now going to 90 is not very hard. We have promised the country by the end of this year, we should be able to hit 90, and in the first quarter of 2026, inshallah, we should be able to go back to 90.
Calls were leveled to men to support their partners in seeking timely antenatal care, noting improved outcomes in areas approaching below 5% transmission rates.
How many of you take some money, even if you are border, and give your wife even 100 shillings to go to the facility, because it is important? And we are seeing very good progress in certain areas of this country.
The hearings brought together the Ministry of Health, National Treasury, civil society groups, and disability organizations, all pushing for transparency, accountability, and a people-centered health budget.
In EMTCT,
public participation is required by the Constitution to ensure citizens help shape how public funds are allocated and spent, to strengthen transparency and ensure budget reflects real community needs
and sustainability.
The National Treasury announced dates for the public sector hearing of the proposed 2026-27 fiscal year and medium-term budget, which began on Wednesday 19th and came to an end today. Yvonne Kemuma, KUTV.
And away from health matters, back to matters politics, where Deputy President Kutv has urged Nyeri residents to ignore opposition rhetoric and align with the government to benefit from the ongoing development programs. He made the remarks during a tour of the county with local leaders.
Hii serikali hatutoki. Unajua mimi zamani nimekuwa waziri wa usalama wa taifa. Ndugu zangu wengine walijaribu kunisawishi tutoke kwa serikali. Mimi nilikataa. Niliwaambia mambo mawili. Kwanza, tukitoka kwa serikali saa hii, watu wetu wamepata nini kutoka kwa hii serikali ambayo tulichagua? Si afadhali tungoje? Hata kama ni kutoka tutoke huko mwisho kabisa huko. Ile tunatafuta kama jamii haitapatikana na makelele na fitina na mambo ya ujinga. Itapatikana kwa kutumia akili. Usione simba amenyeshewa udhani ni nini?
Tutafanya kazi kwa wakati huu. Wakati wa siasa ikifika, twende kwa siasa. But we are not going to allow anyone to distract us. We are going to focus on the delivery of the services we promised the people of this country.
Now, the Independent Boundaries and Boundaries Commission, Electoral Boundaries Commission rather, says it's ready for next week's Magarini by-election. Commissioner Alutalala Mukwana, after meeting the County Security Committee, said security has been tightened and warned against any form of violence. Magarini has 193 polling stations and 10 candidates vying for the parliamentary seat.
Nasimamia shughuli za Magarini leo na niko hapa tangia jana na sitotoka mpaka tumetangaza mshindi kwa njia ya amani, haki na uhuru kwa mujibu wa sheria na katiba ya jamhuri yetu. Na tumekuja hapa kwa sababu sisi kama tume huru ya IEBC tunaupa usalama kipaumbele, kwa sababu bila usalama hakuna kinachoweza kujiri bila kuwa raia wanahisi hawana uoga. Marafa vituo 25, Magarini vituo 35, Gongoni vituo 41, Garashi vituo 30 na Sabake vituo 18, jumla 193.
Now, with 6 days to the Malava parliamentary by-election, the UDA party has intensified campaigns for its candidate David Ndakwa. Presidential aide Farouk Kibet urged residents to support the candidate, touting ongoing development projects in the area.
Leo nimekuja kukuomba kazi. Huwezi jua kama naweza fanya. Nataka unipatie kazi. Nirudi hapa area ya Lukova, niite watu wote. Kwa siku 3 kama nasema nitakuja kukaa hapa na nyinyi. Na mkuje na mimi nikuja na kalamu na karatasi. Niite watu niwafanye ile kitu inaitwa public participation. Wenyewe muamue vile mtafanyiwa kazi.
Shule ama tusijenge. Ndio hii shule tuwe na maendeleo na stima. Amutaomba tena tutaleta stima hapa. Mranga. Hiyo mimi nitakete na hawa na chief tumalisha hii shule. Ndakwa.
And as that was playing out, Labour Cabinet Secretary and Maendeleo Chapcha Party leader Dr. Alfred Mutua has accused the Wiper Party of attempting to manipulate the Mumbuni ward by-election. Now, by collecting voters' ID cards in the MC's strongholds. Now, Mutua, accompanied by Machakos Member of Parliament Caleb Mule, urged residents to remain vigilant and vote freely on the 27th of November.
Nasimamia shughuli za Magarini leo na niko hapa tangia jana na sitotoka mpaka tumetangaza mshindi kwa njia ya amani, haki na uhuru kwa mujibu wa sheria na katiba ya jamhuri yetu. Na tumekuja hapa kwa sababu sisi kama tume huru ya IEBC tunaupa usalama kipaumbele, kwa sababu bila usalama hakuna kinachoweza kujiri bila kuwa raia wanahisi hawana uoga. Marafa vituo 25, Magarini vituo 35, Gongoni vituo 41, Garashi vituo 30 na Sabaki vituo 18, jumla 193.
All right, we now slide into our second break right here in the Friday edition of the KUTV Prime Time News. Of course, we keep it as an open conversation. You can chime in on our social media handles and link with us and also give us your views on the news. We take our short break and we'll be back with Matches Sports.
Msimu mpya, uso mpya, nguvu mpya bila shaka na ari mpya. Lakini dhamira ni ile ile. Kuboresha kilimo kwa maisha bora. Jiunge nami James Baraka na hodha wako mpya wa kipindi cha Boresha Kilimo, tunapochunguza mbinu za kisasa za kilimo ukipenda teknolojia ibuka katika kilimo, maoni ya wataalamu na hadithi za mafanikio kutoka kila pembe ya taifa. Kutoka kwa wakulima wadogo hadi biashara za kilimo zilizostawi, tunakuvika maarifa na suluhisho kamili, si tu za kuongeza mazao yako, bali pia kuimarisha maisha yako. Kila Jumamosi saa 6:30 na Jumanne saa 4 asubuhi, usipitwe na baraka za Boresha Kilimo, nami James Baraka, hapa hapa KUTV.
A new era, a new people. This is the Law Matters Show. A program that brings you legal sensitization on your television.
My statement is written and just the quote the prosecution.
I think that this loss is a setback for Raila Odinga.
What policy recommendations were fronted by the candidate?
With diversity, we demystify important legal issues locally, regionally, and internationally.
What Tanzanians.
Join me, Elvin Onsongo, as I bring you more insights on law matters.
We are looking at social issues. What is the problem? Is it the economy? Is it...
Law Matters Show, creating awareness, advocacy, and enhancing lives.
All right, it's just about that time to get sporty. And Gor Mahia right-wing player Sharif Musa has been named Sport Pacer League Player of the Month for October, while coach Charles Akonor won the Coach of the Month award, recognized for their outstanding performance. And also, Machakos Governor Wavinya Ndeti has flagged off 408 athletes for the 2025 Kutosi Games in Siaya County. The teams will compete in 21 disciplines, including football, basketball, dance, and athletics. Wavinya urged discipline, teamwork, and targeting at least 18 medals in the upcoming games that will include various bodies, including other counties from all over Kenya.
Last year, in Kakamega, Machakos County fielded 179 players competing 9 disciplines. This year, we are sending a formidable team of 408 players. Machakos shone brightly in Kakamega, bringing home 6 trophies. We must show them who we are. This year, I am challenging you to raise the bar even higher.
.33 past the top of the hour, and that marks it for the Friday edition of the KUTV Prime Time News tonight. Thank you for keeping it KUTV and granting us your viewing. Of course, also a big bravo to the whole team involved in the production of tonight's broadcast, led by my producer Yvonne Kimomunari, and the whole team on the other end, holding and ensuring everything swales through very smoothless and in a way that we appreciate. Thank you very much and bravo, guys. From me, Emmanuel Kutosi, and Francis Okinyi on the sign language interpretation. It's good night and God bless until tomorrow at a time like this when Ochieng Cynthia will be gracing your screens. Good night and sweet dreams.